Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I am Everardo Resendiz. People around here know me as Coach Ever. I am a certified executive and business coach here at Action Coach in Northwest Louisiana. Today, I have Sharon Thayer with Carousel Publishing as my guest, and we're going to be talking about her business, the journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it really is like to own and operate a business. If this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop conversations just like this one. And so, Sharon, welcome and thank you
Morning.
for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope you're having a good morning.
Well, would you share with us a little overview of your background and tell us a little bit about the business?
My background is I've been an entrepreneur all my life, from pulling my wagon around the neighborhood with little tomato starts that I planted in paper cups to starting my first business. I was probably 30 years old before I started my first business. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and I always told people, entrepreneurs, we have a missing gene. There's nothing we can do about. We're an entrepreneur. We're born it. We're going to be it forever. We can't fight it. And someone told me not too long ago, Sharon, no, we have an extra gene. We're extra special. So I've been an entrepreneur. I've started a number of businesses, sold two. One bankrupted me, and other just kind of I get tired of after about 7 years. I like the creative part of starting the business and getting it going, and then I just rather sell and get out. So, but with this one, I found my passion in writing and publishing books, and no, I'm going to do this to the day I die.
That is outstanding. Well, would you set the stage for the viewers, the listeners? Um, are you the sole owner of this business? Do you have any partners in it, outside investors, things of the like?
No, no, I'm the sole owner. I own assets and debts and copyrights and everything. Um, I've done it all myself with contract labor. One of my businesses was a daycare center, and that cured me of employees. I said, never again. It's going to be contract labor. So I pretty much do it from, well, I have a distribution center, but product development, sales, marketing, the whole bit, school programs, book signings, everything. And I'm at the point now growing that I can't grow until I get more of the business off my plate so I can spend more time developing products and getting them out there. It
So
just,
you're
there's
wearing all the 20 hats that a business requires from,
absolutely
ordering, the putting
and
stuff together, coordinating all of it.
right. And I'm as I get older, those 15-hour days get longer. I don't know what happens, but I'm ready to give up some of the jobs and keep moving forward.
So tell us a little bit how what does a week look like for you? I mean, how many hours are you putting into this business?
A lot of times I work full days, and I mean get up and do my creative stuff before with my morning coffee right away. That's when my brain's the most creative. And then take a little time, eat, exercise, get into my office, and then I'll work pretty much. I try to take a half-hour lunch break, but most of these bring my lunch to my computer and in my desk and eat, and I work up till 6. And one of my books has a little something in it, and those have to be handmade. They're not made in China. My Santa book has a little snippet of beard in it. And lots of times at night, I'm watching TV and making snippets of beard. I have sold over 55,000 of these books. I haven't made all of them, but I've had friends and other authors, and I'll have a like an elf help week when I pay people to come and we all sit down and crunch out
Awesome. That is
thousands of
awesome.
those beers for the next holiday season. But that's gonna go get off my plate someday too, because I don't want to die sitting there making Santa beards.
So
but
you're
but
at a point now.
each one
I'm sorry.
makes such magic with a child. The first time I saw a child get that snippet of beard and just they just was so happy. They had to pick me. It's like how could I get tired of making those and putting them in? It's just pure magic. So,
It really is. I mean, it's a very nice detail, and from the reviews that I've seen online, that seems to actually draw a lot of attention. So it's a
mm,
brilliant move. Um, but ultimately, you're at a point where you're trying to leverage the business, right? And so, of all these time that you put into the business, and you talked about 15-hour days, many days. Um, how do you choose the track that you're following? When do you think about your growth plans and strategy, the planning part of
well, it was 9/11 that did it. I had just started a new company. It was a year old. It was called the Can Company. It was a motivational product. If anybody, the slogan was, "If anybody can, I can." And my first customer was Johnson and Johnson. My second customer was a big national convention company that was ordering every city. They were doing like 7 cities and 1,500 products for each city. They were ordered. The order was on my desk, and when 9/11 happened, well, of course, convention stopped, and I was dead in the water. They went bankrupt. This convention company went bankrupt, and so I'm sitting there with a business that's dead, not enough money to wade through it. And my daughter and I were talking. She was a teenager. We were talking one night before bed about how it was November and it was dark. For all of you who remember, it was dark and the holidays, there wasn't a lot of joy for the holidays. And we thought, what if we could do something to bring some joy to families and we could make a little bit of money? And I woke up, we talked about it a little bit, went to bed. I woke up in the morning with this idea, scribbled it down on paper, and it was the story of Santa's beard. And I scraped up and had very little money, and I bought some white envelopes, which I did the artwork on. This is a letter from Santa. That's my art ability right there. All, all 100% of it. And then, oh, this one doesn't have I bought a rubber stamp, put little Santa. I wrote a personal letter to each child. And here's the whole, there's a book now. It's letter from Santa with the snippet of beard folded inside. I sold this for $7. At the time, the stamped envelope, everything included was 54 cents. So I have never had margins like that again. I need to go back where I started. But I sold this from bulletin boards in the grocery store where you tear up the little tab. I called churches. I posted it in their daycare center and other daycares and child centers around eastern Colorado where I was living. And I got so many of these orders. I tell you, my hand writing these special little notes to the kids from Santa. I'll never do that again. But I made enough money to pay my bills for the next couple of months and got my kids each one present. It was probably under $20, but we had enough to have some Christmas. And I brought joy to a lot of families. And guess what? It's still going. Now, back up a little bit. I'm highly dyslexic. I'm not well read. I don't like to read. And people don't like to hear me read because I stutter and stammer through it all. My own books, I do pretty good now. But who would have thought I'd ever be an author? And so everybody got this, especially my neighbors and friends that knew me. They go, well, can you write some more? And I went, I don't know. I spent the next 10 years and I got a real job after Christmas and I worked for someone else. But then before you know it, I was starting a nature-based childcare center in the mountains in Colorado. So people paid me to run and play with their mountains every day, all through the year. But anyway, so during that time, in these spare moments at home, I was writing, and I had a file cabinet drawer full of stories. So eventually, I sold the daycare center and made this into a little paperback book. And it's just 12 pages. It's saddle stitched. I think they cost me $1.25 to do each one, 32 pages of color. And I started selling it. Of course, it came with an envelope, but now the envelope has real art. So that's where I started. And I started selling that. Now it's been in hardcover for I don't know how many years. It has 3 national awards. Last fall, I moved to the Houston area, and it's very bilingual down here. A lot of programs and schools and everything. And so, guess what? Santa's now has a book that's English and Spanish in it. And I was just down in Mexico City a couple of weeks ago talking to Hachette publishers down there, and sounds like they may be doing my Santa book in all Latin America. So that would be cool.
That is
So
awesome.
that's not, I didn't plan this. This was all after 50 years old. I didn't plan this. I would have never thought I would be a 15-time national international award-winning author. But you don't know in life where things take you. And everything I did up to that, the daycare center, the speakers bureau I owned, the everything I did, the losing everything, the bankruptcy, all those things built that foundation that I've just taken off on top of, you know?
So it's a lot of up and downs through your development, I'm sure. And
Mhm.
so, the journey itself is rewarding when you're at the other end, but it is very difficult to go through. Can we agree on that? It's a beautiful journey once you're done with it, once
Yeah,
you're on the other side.
well, but people ask me, you know, do you regret some of the things that happened to you? The bad things. No, no. It made me who I am now. It gave me strengths. It gave me skills. You learn from failure. You learn from the bad things in life. And twice I lost everything. After 9/11 was one, and there was another one who was a man involved, but I don't get married anymore. That that I lost everything. And but the funny thing about that is, one, I have no fear of losing everything again, because you can't lose everything. You can give your integrity away, but you can't lose it. You can give your hopes and dreams, you give up, but you don't have to. Family, your love for the world, your faith, your all those things. You can't lose everything. You lose stuff. Especially women, we can always get stuff back. But
Now, let
so it's
me let
all
me
built up to this.
let me pick
But
back up this idea that you mentioned. The challenges in writing, right? Dyslexia, right? And I think that you mentioned before that your books are written in a way that are easier for kids with some disabilities to access. Will you talk a little bit about that?
oh, the way I set up my books, is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yes.
What I did, Santa was my first book, and I realized after when I was out selling the little book, just the first one, I realized Santa believers go from 2 or 3 to 9 or 10. So, eh, you know, you have to entertain both ends of the spectrum and everything in between. And my book was pretty good, not too many words on a page, so it was pretty good for little ones. 3-year old, yeah, you can keep the attention with 3 and up. And but now what about these 8, 9, 10 year olds that still are believers? And so when I did school programs, I told this whole backstory. One day said to me, why don't you put that in the book? So I put the backstory in the book. It's a higher level, and it emphasizes getting out in nature, because of my background. I'm all about getting kids in nature because there's just so much they need it. There's so much to gain. And so it's me hiking or biking or kayaking, and then something happens and I discover the story. In the Santa one, I'm hiking and I come across a little elf who's sitting on a bench. Well, she had come down from the North Pole looking for someone to tell the story of Santa Spear to, someone who'd make it into a book. So obviously she found me and told me the story, and I decided to make it into a book. So they're fun fiction stories, little fiction, little nonfiction in there, and it grows with its children all through their Santa years. And people like this so much that all my books have backstories in them now. So when I make a book, it's going to have two stories. This one, I'm kayaking and I get thrown out of my kayak from a big wave and end up stranded on a rock. And a mermaid comes up and she tells me stories while I'm waiting for someone to save me. And that she told me the story about this little shark. So it's fun, but it gives another level of reading and comprehension, and kids, parents, teachers, they just love it.
Absolutely. All right. Now, you did mention before, in a previous conversation we had, that that the idea here with these books. Um, the philosophy that you follow to promote your books is you're not selling them out to the
Mhm.
public. That makes your business special in a way, right? They're not available in Amazon. They're not available in, some of the bigger outlets.
Bookstores.
Will you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's I don't know how I came about it exactly, but um, I'm one person. I can't do everything. And I started out in the gift market. I go to Las Vegas and Atlanta and Dallas markets every year, twice a year, and sell books to gift stores. And they were pretty excited about it, and it was a good business, kept growing it. I tried on Amazon a little bit and realized that if you consider my time, I was losing money selling on Amazon. So I quit that. And bookstores, but Amazon and bookstores both have a little luxury gift that it makes it hard for publishers and authors. Last April, I was at a publishers meeting and I thought, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn how to do everything right because I've just kind of made it up as I go. And I got there and everybody, it doesn't matter what the seminar was about, it seemed like the conversation kept going to their return rate. And I was amazed. 15 to 25% of all their sales are returned because they're on Amazon and bookstores, which go through Ingram, which allows returns. And they saw me being shocked. What is your return rate? Zero. Never had a return. Gift stores don't have that luxury that they can send back inventory. Bookstore, I think it was after World War II, they did that as an incentive to get stores to buy books and get that business growing. And it's just stayed that way. So I walked away from that convention thinking maybe I was a little smarter, maybe I put more energy into the gift market instead of trying to expand. But I do have a website. I sell on my website, so I do have the internet. I am using the internet. But if I had a whole staff, yeah, that might be a little different. Maybe you could do that. But that return rate is eating people up. And now they're saying that parents on Amazon are using it as a library. They order the books, they let their kids look at them, play with them, destroy them, whatever, they send them back. And
Yes,
the author loses
that's
the books and the money. So
yeah.
it
Wow.
is kind of hard, but that's the way it is. And Amazon's not going to go away.
Right, right. Well, what is one thing that you wish more
So
people knew about Carousel Publishing?
I guess that I look at my job. If somebody asks me what I sell, I won't say I sell books. I sell magic. I sell family traditions that build stronger bonds and stronger families. I sell the messages that aren't in your face, but they're woven into the stories of ethics and values to try to make our children better people. And grandmothers, mothers, teachers, they just love my stories because there's the magic, but it's soaking kids in and they want them over and over. Most people tell me that their kids won't let them pack away the Santa book. They read it every week, all year long. And that makes me feel good. And it gets read on Christmas Eve, along with the night before Christmas. And it's like, that was the first time. It was in White House, Texas. I was at a grocery store and a woman came up to me, a young mother, and she said, "Are you the Santa's beard lady?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I want you to know that on Christmas Eve, I sent my girls up to get ready for bed, told them to bring one book down to read in front of the fireplace. And she said, I want you to know they brought your book." And it's like, first I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's wrong with those kids? They're supposed to bring the night before Christmas. Then I started thinking, oh my God, that's an honor. It wasn't on my goal list. My goal were these awards, these 3 awards for here and 3 for that book. And all of a sudden those awards didn't have near the weight they had before. My goal is to have children want to read my book on special occasions, and that's be the children's choice. There's no better word than that. So that's why I want them to remember. I'm trying to make magic and memories for families.
So you started this journey after September 11. It has been a journey of discovery, doing a lot of things on your own, getting some help, recruiting, assistance from people in your network to help you get through these. Um, but as you look at your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with, that you were forced to overcome, to break through, to find that success?
My biggest hurdle has always been money. I start a business. I'm an Aquarian. I don't know if anybody believes in that stuff, but Aquarians are a little bit crazy and impulsive. And I get an idea for a business and I start it. There's no business plan. There's no anything. I'm just starting this business. And I kind of went into this blind and didn't have the money. But I found out that it'll come, it'll happen. It happened with my daycare center too. I just started it and pretty soon the money came. But I could have grown a lot faster if I would have been, I don't have the background in it. They don't care if I have $200,000 of inventory on pallets in my garage. That doesn't, but I have to have those books in order to sell. But how do I get the money to, but I had an aunt give me some money, lend me some money once, and a big chunk when Hallmark was looking at my books and wanting to order big numbers. But the financial is just the biggest hurdle when you're a sole proprietor, and it just as soon as I don't need money, they'll be ready to give me all I want. But I've built businesses on credit cards. And you work damn hard to pay it off. The interest didn't used to be as high as it is now. Well, that's not a good idea now, I don't think. But the money is the hardest thing. But I don't let anybody's listening. Don't let that stop you. Just plow ahead, and somehow you've got the goals written down. That Think and Grow Rich. You said you were reading that book, and that's think. To put it in your head. You're going to do it. It's going to happen, and by golly, it does.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, let's fast forward and look at what comes next. Where do you see your business going the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I'm starting to diversify a little bit and outsource things. I have a company in Canada, Atlee Books to Bed. They make pajamas to go with my Santa book, and they sell it in a package with the book, hardcover book, and the pajamas all in one package. And they sell throughout the United States, and big stores like Nordstrom's and Saks and the little independent stores too. They sell in Canada and in Europe. So that's kind of nice. I don't have to do anything. They do it all, and I had another publisher call me once to do Santa Spear book in a cardboard book for little toddlers. And so we're working on that right now. And I told you I met with Hachette in Mexico. I keep saying New Mexico. I was in Mexico, and that's a good thing. And I just have to get it in the hands of somebody who can grow. I worked my way through the startup and everything grew out of that stage, but then I've been lost in that middle, not big enough. Then COVID hit, which hurt me badly. I was selling mostly to gift stores. Guess what? They were closed. So anyways, but to make that jump to play with the big guys, or girls, and I've just never been able quite to make that. And I think now these little steps I'm taking, getting in here and there, it's going to build. What else? I was just thinking something. I lost it. Something I was going to say about growing. But it just sometimes it happens when you least expect it. Somebody just calls you and say, "Hey, we've seen your books. We want to do this with them," and that's the way it's going to happen. But I keep making new books. I've got. Oh, I know. This is what I was going to say. I wrote a book, a custom book for University of Texas during COVID. That saved me for COVID. That was a good chunk of my budget for the year. But I'd like to do more custom books for nonprofit organizations. I've got one written about a little boy in a wheelchair, and I've got different ones that would be great for nonprofits. I've got at least 2 file cabinets drawers full of stories, but I'd like to do the custom books for groups that can use it for fundraising. I think that would be it's a different kind of challenge writing for somebody else, but it's fun.
That's amazing. Okay. Well, we certainly have covered a lot of ground in this conversation. And for those who are watching, I highly encourage you to save these and come back a few times for an additional watch. There's a lot of great nuggets here. And so as we begin to wrap up, Sharon, I have a few rapid fire questions, okay? So quick
Okay,
top of head answers for each. You ready?
I'm ready.
What is the key to success for you?
Fail fast. Start
Fail
something,
and fail
whatever
forward.
it, yep, whatever you start, just go for it. And at the minute you know it's a failure, stop, go another direction. I can do 5 things, and with somebody who's doing this great big plan can get one done. So fail fast. Don't be embarrassed. Keep going.
What is your one piece of advice for other business owners?
Well, that would be advice. Just okay. Other advice: believe. My 72nd birthday, I got my every morning. I get up, tell myself, reinforce, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. Because if you don't believe, nobody else is.
That's right.
You've got to believe it all the way down to your soul and keep focused on it.
Now, this is going to sound out since your business is some books, but what is one book that you have read that has helped you overcome through or go through these that will you will recommend other people read?
Okay. When I read, I love to read biographies. You learn more about people and their successes and stuff from anybody's biography. But I read that this on your list, it could be a possible. So I thought, what book has really impressed me lately? Kobe Yamada is my favorite children's book author. I had told him one day, I said, if you know, with author egos and all that, if I had to pick his books over mine, I told him, I said, I might pick yours. But this one he's got is called Trying. And his books are what do you do with an idea? What do you do? Or forget some of the other ones. With a chance. He's got wonderful with basic things to help you develop. And Trying is it a lot of picture books have messages as pertinent for adults as children. You've got to remember that a good picture book is timeless as far as age group. But this is saying if you don't try, you don't know. And if you don't
Right.
try, you don't fail to learn something to get to success. So trying, and it's just wonderful little book.
You know, you mentioned that, and you know, whenever I start working with somebody, part of my initial kit, what I give them to begin their journey in the coaching process is Dr. Seuss's All the Places You'll Go.
As you go. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of kids' books that in my daycare, I had middle schoolers in summer camp, and we had story time after lunch. Even then, middle schoolers would not, because we'd be hiking up the mountains before we left in the morning. They go, Miss Sharon, you remember the book today, right? And there's so many picture books that have messages for middle schoolers and beyond.
Very good. So, if you had to choose only one area of your business that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would that be?
To improve?
Yes.
Oh, there's two, but social media. I don't do it. And I know I should, and I know it's important. I'm a very private individual, and it's like, well, I earn an award for me, so I know it's a good book. Why do I need to post it on there? Why do I need to share the stuff? It's and I know it's important. I actually am working with a group now that's doing some stuff on the internet for me, and they're probably going to take that over. I have plenty to say. I have stuff written, and I just part of it's time. And the
Right.
other thing's accounting. Yeah, I don't do that either. I want more
Well,
time to write.
that's when you get people to help you,
Yes,
right?
I know. That's right.
All right. So before we get into the final question of the day, how can other people learn more about you and your company? How can they get in touch with you? Are there any offers you have for the public?
Okay. Well, two ways. I have a website, carousel-publishing.com, and you can get a hold of me through there. You can order books on there. You can hit, they has almost all the books have a little 2-minute video synopsis that will tell the main story, the backstory, give you an idea of the whole thing. So you know before you buy it that if it's a book you'll like or not. So there's a website. If you have a problem with that, call me. I'm still a one person thing. Somebody calls me and hey, I want a book and I want to sign to this person, whatever. I can take care of it over the phone. But I'm going to do special and this you probably have to call me or leave a message on my website. This is my perfect birthday wish. This is coming in May. It's the story about a little boy who's very selfish, and he learns to make a wish that shows that he's learned not to be selfish anymore, in a nutshell. And what I want to do is give a book away for free if anybody puts me in contact with a local gift store, or it doesn't have to be where they're local, but a gift store that might want to carry my books. And so that's what I'm happy to do. So if somebody wants to call me and say, here's a contact for this gift store, and they're expecting your call, but and then when the book comes, it'd be at the end of May, beginning of June. But I also have a tooth fairy named Mort. Her name's Mortina, but she's a tomboy. And of course, this answers all the questions: where she lives, why she needs the teeth, where she gets human money, the whole thing. And the End of the Earth is a love you forever story, right? From new babies to going off to college. And what did I say? Wonderfully, perfectly unusual is about building resilience to bullying. Isn't that cute? I'm peeking out when we're
Oh, that is
uh,
awesome.
two more real quickly. I Can Fly. This is great for graduations. It's for older kids, using flying as a metaphor for success. There's I Can Fly. If you tell me I can fly, for girls and for boys, both of them. Those are my 5 books, and of course the Santa one. But and if you don't want the birthday book as a free book for introducing me to a gift store, then tell me which one you'd like, and we can sign it and get it to you.
That's amazing. Well, thank you very much. And so, Sharon, what do you find is the most inspiring thing for you nowadays?
Now, when somebody comes up, I was at Canton this weekend, and a family came up, and one girl, who's a woman now, 2 babies, and she and her sister was there, who's an adult too, and grandma was there. They said, we've had your Santa book since these kids were 7 and 8 years old. Now they have babies of their own, and we still read your book every Christmas, and it just is like, I just don't thank you. That keeps me going. I want to know the magic's out there, and people are happy having my books.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all these with us. Thank you to the audience for watching and sharing. You never know who you might be inspiring by giving them this interview for them to listen or watch. So make it a great day. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.